Hi, I'm Alison Ellis of Floral Artistry. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am answering another one of your questions today, and here goes. The question today is, how do you come across as professional without a meeting space or storefront? I'm hearing a lot of like, yeah, I have that same problem, right? Um, it's not always easy. The truthful answer is it's not always easy, but it can be done. So the first thing that I like to put out there to help you remember, like the most important thing about being professional without a shop is it's not unprofessional to not have a shop. So it's important to like wrap your head around that concept that the shop doesn't make you more professional. Okay, yes, on the surface, there are some reasons why it does. But, owning a storefront doesn't make you smarter. It doesn't make you a better designer. It doesn't make you more equipped to do a consultation necessarily. I'll tell you this, I have worked in plenty of flower shops that did not have a good meeting space for a bride. Sure, you make it work or you like squeeze in at this teeny little table and they're in your shop, but there's also business going on in your shop, right? Like, unless you're in some really high-end flower shop or have some like dedicated meeting space because you have a large shop, most people who own a shop are kind of meeting with a customer in the middle of the shop, and a phone call could come in the middle of that meeting, right? And on and on and on. There are a lot of things that can go on in your shop in the middle of your consultation. So just get out of your head that unless you're surrounded by a building that says florist outside of it, you're not professional enough. So here is the truth. It is just not always easy to find an appropriate meeting place. And yes, you may be going to a local coffee shop, or you may be going to a local bakery, or you may decide you want to meet couples at their venue. I don't know in your area what's the best way to sort of tackle this issue of not having a meeting space. But if you have a reasonably clean home and a reasonable dining room table or a comfy couch, you can invite people to your home. I have met many, many people in my home. I once had a consultation where a bride showed up with this entourage of, I'm not even kidding you, there may have been 8 people in my living room. I'm not even sure I actually had 8 seats in my living room at that point. And it was super awkward. And hey, big surprise, the bride didn't book with me. But you know what? She simply wasn't my customer, because my customer doesn't bring 8 people for an opinion, right? And at this point, my customer books over the phone. So I do start with a phone consultation. And if you feel like it's hard to invest your time in coordinating this meeting spot and you don't even know if the consultation is going to work out, start with a phone interview, and just say, I like to start, you set the tone. I like to start with a phone consultation so we can chat a little bit about the details, and then we can arrange an in-person meeting if we decide we're a good fit. And so then at this point, the customer has already gotten a sense of you, you've gotten a sense of them, and if you like each other, if you're like me, you can put together a proposal after the phone consultation. If you prefer not to do that and you prefer to meet in person, which there's nothing wrong with, then you just say, hey, the consultation went well. I'm going to give her some kind of information, and then we're going to arrange to meet at a coffee shop. And she's already kind of invested in you, right? So she already has a sense of you. She liked you. So she's not just showing up and it's like a cold call, like, okay, is this going to work? So that could be one way to sort of transition. And on the phone, you approach it honestly. I don't have a shop, and you don't have to say it apologetically, right? Like, I don't apologize I don't have a shop. It's really a matter of your own perception sometimes. Like, you can feel inferior because you don't have a shop, but meanwhile, if no one's looking down at you, why feel that way? Why feel that way? And if somebody is looking down at you, whatever, right? Like, just whatever. So keep in mind that you can frame it. No, I don't have a shop. I actually work from home. So I don't have the same, I ordered specifically just for my events. You can frame it in the positive light that it is, because it is positive. It's a positive thing. You're not like burned out by the time Friday comes and like barely having the energy to do this wedding. You are starting up on Wednesday, right? Like you have your full attention on the customer. So whatever it is that is your strong suit in not having a shop, own that and present that to the customer. And if the shop is really important to them, if they're like, well, if you don't have a shop, I'm not comfortable, then I'm sorry, but they're not going to book with you, and it's hopefully their loss, not yours, right? So just keep that in mind. You don't have to feel inferior, and not having a storefront, a storefront doesn't necessarily mean professional. A storefront that's messy or sloppy, or again, doesn't like has this teeny tiny, little like bistro table with the little garden chairs that are metal, isn't like this luxurious meeting space. So find a place that works for you. Make it someplace that's, maybe a little bit more, again, it has to suit your personality. So if you like to be a little more loungy, maybe you find a place that has a comfy couch somewhere and you get there super early to make sure you get that couch, right? But you can do it, and just know that some of this is just in your head and you can make it work. So that's my answer to your question. I hope you find it helpful, and if you have more questions, please feel free to email me. I look forward to hearing from you. Keep doing beautiful work. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really genuinely appreciate your time, and I will see you next time.